Some Coinbase users are experiencing errors in buying and selling, as well as seeing empty account balances. This is some scary stuff. This stock has been on fire, but they're investigating that right now. And by the way, this comes as, of course, we were talking about Apple giving up on these EV dreams. Well, everyone seems to be embracing Satoshi Nakamoto's dream, right? Because everyone now buying Bitcoin. And a lot of it has to do with these 9 Bitcoin ETFs. Yesterday, they broke a volume record, 2.5, and it looks like it's going to keep going on and on and on. With me now, Pomp Investments investor Anthony Pompliano. And ironically, you talked about this being the driver of the next leg up. You just told me because of these ETFs, I guess too much money chasing too few Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, look, what we're watching right here is a reflexive move in price. This is a classic thing that's happened in finance. It's just now on a global stage, and retail got in before the institutions, which is an important component. And so right now there's about 5 a day of net new inflow to the ETFs, and there's about $50 million worth of Bitcoin that's being produced by the network. And so if you have 10x more demand than supply, the price has got to go up to accommodate everyone.
So we got the table here, right? The 9 ETFs. I bet really taking off big time. That had a big chunk. So when the fees, part of this too is the fees are pretty low, right? They're trying to get market share right now.
The fees are incredibly low. Today already we've had $6 billion of trading volume. It's more than 2x what we've seen so far. And again, if we had $500 million of net new inflows coming in, BlackRock's funds got $8 billion. And this was like the first day or the first week of the launch. That's just people being excited and the pent-up demand. We are now almost 2 months post-launch, and we're still seeing $500 million a day. Now, remember, we've got the halving coming up where we're going to go from 900 Bitcoin a day to 450. So at the same time that all of a sudden the global financial world realized that Bitcoin might be an asset they want to buy, and they're pouring billions of dollars into it, we're about to see that network cut their daily production in half. And so naturally, you get a demand shock, you get a supply shock, prices got to go up.
You said on your podcast that Bitcoin, that this big move we're talking about now is sounding the alarm on inflation. How closely do you think Jay Powell's watching this, and what do you mean by that?
So if we go back to 2020, one of the things that we saw was Bitcoin's about $8,000 over the summer of 2020. And all of a sudden, there was a couple of investors, Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller, they came out and they said, I'm buying Bitcoin because I believe inflation is coming. We can't print trillions of dollars, and this will be the fastest horse in the inflation hedge bucket. They were correct. Bitcoin went from $8,000 to $64,000. But we got to $64,000, 800% increase, and inflation had not hit yet. Markets are forward looking. And so, same thing in November of 2021. Bitcoin started to go down in price because the Fed started talking about bringing inflation down. What I think is happening now, part of it, yes, the ETFs are a big deal, but also we're seeing some data that's saying that inflation may not go away. It may be stickier. It may actually come back to some degree. And so there's definitely a cohort of people who are buying Bitcoin in anticipation of that inflation arriving. They want to be protected by the time the damage comes.
What about those who are saying because Bitcoin is going up is an example of too much money sloshing around and the Fed better take action because this is a red alert? Just too much cash out there.
If you've got cash, the single most responsible thing you can do in the financial market at the moment is probably to buy some Bitcoin. You don't have to put all your money in it, but buying Bitcoin is a great way to actually hedge against the debasement of that currency. And what we're watching around the world is that governments are now over-leveraged in terms of debt. They're going to have to devalue their currencies. And so you can buy real estate, you can buy gold, you can buy Bitcoin. But I think a lot of people around the world are saying Bitcoin is going to be the thing that I want to buy. And there's only 21 million of them. There's not enough full Bitcoins for every millionaire in the world to own. And I think that's going to keep driving the price up.
20 seconds, Bob Elliott saying that institutions still not 100% on board.
I don't know who Bob Elliott is. He's probably a very nice guy, but I disagree.
If I had more time, I would have given you more of his resume.
I apologize to Bob. I'm sure he's a fantastic guy.
Do you think the institutions are on board?
BlackRock has got $8 billion in their fund, and they're out there telling people that it's a flight to quality. If BlackRock says it, Larry Fink says the flight to quality.
Bitcoin is a flight to quality.
Of course. How are you going to protect yourself, right? If they're going to devalue your currency and you need something to protect against inflation and currency debasement, you got to buy Bitcoin. And I think that's why Larry Fink now is going to get institutions on board.
All right, my man.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. You've been spot on.